before. She's doing stuff we've never seen before. Never seen nobody do that on a consistent basis. There's a lot of girls in WNBA that have done it in spurts, but that game I'm watching y'all in the Final Four, I'm like, damn, like. And I was a hater because, I'm down when she was like, she's not going to hit that shot, and bam, like, damn.
Caitlin Clark's the new it. If you don't have a long ball, talking about the 26, 30 feet, if you ain't doing the Steph Curry, if you ain't got none of that long ball in your game, yeah, you're going to be behind.
Anyone plugged into hoops already knows Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie. She's a phenomenon, rewriting what we expect from women's basketball. Her range, vision, and poise have even NBA legends shaking their heads in disbelief, and the surge of energy she's brought into the WNBA is unlike anything the league has ever seen. But now the story's taken an even bigger turn, because the greatest to ever lace them up, Michael Jordan himself, has finally spoken up about Clark's impact. Michael Jordan's praise for Caitlin Clark isn't just another compliment, it's a seismic moment, signaling how deeply her game is resonating across basketball's highest circles. And he's not the only legend taking notice. Hall of Famer Rick Barry went straight at Clark's critics, calling out the shade from certain WNBA players as nothing more than envy and insecurity in the face of her talent. His defense wasn't sugar-coated, it was blunt, unapologetic, and exactly the kind of validation Clark supporters have been waiting for. For every young fan who sees Caitlin as proof that greatness can't be denied, Barry's words serve as a reminder. Respect isn't given, it's earned. And Clark has more than done that.
I think it's reprehensible what they're allowing some of these players. Anybody that does something flagrant to this young lady for what she's brought to the game should be suspended and fined big time for doing that.
WNBA legend George Gervin has now added his voice to the growing chorus of support for Caitlin Clark, and his message carried real weight. He didn't sugarcoat the situation. He called out the disrespect directly and made it clear that Clark's skill set is something the game should be lifting up, not tearing down. His words hit like a spotlight moment, reminding everyone that when players of his stature speak, the basketball world listens. The takeaway was simple but powerful. Caitlin's greatness isn't a trend, it's a legacy in the making, and even the legends know it.
They don't know the value that she's bringing for all of them. She bringing, they flying private planes now. They weren't flying private before she came. They on major networks now. They weren't doing that. See, she remind me of Tiger Woods for golf.
Yes.
Jeff Teague might not have been the flashiest star during his NBA career, but that's exactly what makes his words land with so much weight now. A solid 12-year veteran, an all-star, and an NBA champion, Teague was never one to chase cameras or headlines, which is why in retirement he's speaking freely, and he didn't hold back when it came to the WNBA's treatment of Caitlin Clark. Teague called out the cold reception Clark has faced despite bringing unprecedented attention and a massive fan base to the league, pointing out the disconnect between how valuable she is for the game's growth and how she's actually being treated by her peers.
Like, they played this all wrong, bro.
Terribly, bro.
They was supposed to gas this shit. This is why people don't watch this shit when y'all leave college. Women's sports, because y'all hating on the best thing that's gonna happen to the W.
While Teague's delivery may come across as raw, the core of his message is hard to dismiss. For years, debates about the gender pay gap and efforts to boost the WNBA's visibility have gone in circles with little real progress. Then Caitlin Clark arrived, instantly shifting the conversation and driving unprecedented attention, ticket sales, and revenue into the league. Yet instead of being universally embraced, she's faced a rough, often hostile welcome. Teague's point is simple but sharp. Treating the league's biggest draw this way isn't just unfair, it's financially self-sabotaging. In his eyes, Caitlin has more than earned respect from her peers and support from the league's leadership. Speaking of rough treatment, some of the early media hostility toward Caitlin Clark can be traced back to Celtics legend Paul Pierce. The 10-time All-Star openly questioned her game at the start of the season and even sparked racial controversy with his remarks about the Fever's rookie sensation. Since then, Pierce has tried to walk some of that back, slowly shifting his tone and offering Clark more respect. His most telling moment came after she was left off the U.S. Olympic roster, when he finally acknowledged her talent and the spotlight she brings to the sport.
You claim you want the women's game to grow, and then you keep the most popular girl in women's basketball off the team. How do you grow internationally and domestically if you don't put her on the U.S. team? It just makes the most sense. Sometimes you have to say, hey guys, this is bigger than the game, which it is. I mean, women's basketball is at an all-time high because of Caitlin Clark.
On the surface, Pierce's words sounded like a nod of respect, but looking deeper, it's clear he's still not fully sold on Caitlin Clark's game. His argument was less about her earning a spot through merit and more about her value as a marketing tool for the sport, suggesting she belonged on the Olympic team for the buzz, not the basketball. Then again, Pierce has always thrived on stirring debate. His takes often walk the fine line between genuine opinion and media play for relevance. And just when it seemed like the Caitlin Clark drama couldn't get any bigger, Shaquille O'Neal poured gasoline on the fire during Angel Reese's own podcast. In front of Clark's loudest critic, Shaq went all in on his praise for the rookie, making it crystal clear where he stands in the debate.
And I was a hater because, I'm down with she was like, she's not going to hit that shot, and bam, like, damn, she's not going to hit that shot, man. Like, if I say 10 times you're not going to hit the shot and you hit the shot, that means you're the truth. So I'm telling you now, if you just lower it like this, right there.
It was the kind of moment that stops you in your tracks. Shaq on Angel Reese's own podcast, giving Caitlin Clark the kind of praise that silences any debate. His words weren't just complimentary, they were definitive, putting her talent on a level that even her strongest critics couldn't brush aside. Coming from the Big Diesel himself, the message was crystal clear. Caitlin Clark is the real deal. Missing out on the year's biggest sporting stage may have stung for Caitlin personally, but according to three-time Defensive Player of the Year Dwight Howard, it might have been the best thing for her career. Back then, Howard suggested the break could give her a chance to sharpen her game and come back even stronger in the second half of the season. Looking at how things played out, his words now feel almost prophetic.
Him, right? That's my point. Like, I feel like she is a great player, but it's a lot of players that, no lie, who, as far as basketball-wise, they have the edge over her of why they should be playing in the Olympics right now. Mind you, this should motivate her. This should make her go harder in the gym. The 3 weeks that they off, she should get in better shape.
Since the Olympic break, Caitlin Clark has looked like a completely different player. Whether being left off the roster fueled her fire or not, she's clearly found her rhythm again. Skipping the trip to Paris may have been a hidden advantage too. Rather than riding the bench on a loaded squad or risking an untimely injury, Clark stayed locked in, kept her momentum, and came back sharper than ever. Dwight recognized opportunity where others only saw slight, understanding that a player of Caitlin Clark's caliber could turn Olympic rejection into fuel and prove herself against those chosen ahead of her. But with Clark, the conversation is never just about one moment. It's about the bigger picture. Few people know that better than Hall of Fame point guard Isaiah Thomas, a two-time NBA champion and longtime coach and executive. When asked about Clark, Thomas praised her talent and impact, but added a subtle twist at the end that hinted she still has more to prove before her story is fully written.
I think it's great what she's done, and I think it's great what the media and the WNBA and marketing and the players are doing, because, controversy is not good, but, controversy sells.
Let's just say Isaiah knows exactly what's going on, but he's too savvy to fuel the same fire he's calling out. Caitlin Clark has already built a strong grassroots following in Indianapolis, with fans rallying behind her energy and game-changing presence. Still, when it comes to pure hometown love, she's got a long way to go before reaching the heights of Indiana royalty. That was classic Isaiah Thomas, smooth, diplomatic, and sharp all at once. He managed to praise Caitlin, acknowledge her peers, and still expose the ugly politics fueling the backlash against her, all in a single line. And let's be real, controversy sells. From the moment Clark entered the league, the media realized that stirring up drama around her would drive clicks, ratings, and endless debate. By putting her in the crosshairs, they weren't just covering basketball, they were cashing in on the spectacle. At the very top of that list stands Reggie Miller, the legendary sharpshooter and fierce competitor who wore the number 31 for all 18 of his seasons with the Pacers, cementing himself as one of the most beloved figures in Hoosier basketball history. While many expected Miller to roll out the red carpet for Clark as the new face of Indiana basketball, he took a tougher stance instead. Rather than showering her with praise, the Pacers legend doubled down on the idea that every rookie has to earn their stripes the hard way, by battling through adversity, handling criticism, and proving themselves against fierce competition. For Miller, respect in this game isn't handed out, it's won.
First of all, what did you expect was going to happen to her? Number one, I don't think it's jealousy. Oh my God, she's getting all the endorsements. We're going to go after her. You're playing at the highest level. You're playing in the WNBA. You're coming from college and you're going to the pro ranks, right? What did she expect was going to happen? Why are people so shocked, right? You're playing against grown women. The same thing happened to us.
Reggie Miller came up in the rough-and-tumble NBA era where hard fouls and constant battles were just part of the job, so his perspective naturally leans old school. But Caitlin Clark's situation is different. Her challenges extend well past the usual competitiveness. She hasn't just had to prove herself. She's been met with outright hostility that borders on personal. Sure, no one expected WNBA veterans to roll out the red carpet for her, but the level of pushback she's faced goes far beyond the normal process of earning respect on the court. It does come across like an effort to minimize her shine, but Caitlin's story has never just been about gaining respect. It's about fighting for for fairness, even when the deck feels stacked against her. And with Magic Johnson keeping such a close eye as part owner of the Los Angeles Sparks, his perspective carries real weight. The five-time NBA champion knows the game inside and out, and when asked about Caitlin, he didn't just highlight her impact, he placed her within the broader context of this rookie class. Johnson's analysis recognized her as a transformative presence, while also noting the contributions of other rising stars, framing Caitlin not as an outlier, but as the face of a new generation reshaping the league.
Now, Caitlin, her teammates got to come to her defense.
Sure.
You can't allow her to have to fight every battle, right?
Right.
But we have to understand that both Caitlin, Angel, and Brink, who plays for my Sparks, they made the WNBA better. And they're going to be tested by these incredible women who've been in the league for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin is the most popular WNBA player, but she's not the best at this time. Just like Larry and I were not the best when we entered the league. We became the best later on.
What makes Magic's take especially compelling is the historical lens he brings. He compared today's surge of WNBA rookies to his own legendary rivalry with Larry Bird, the duel that breathed new life into the NBA in the late 70s and early 80s. In his eyes, Caitlin and her peers represent that same kind of spark, an energy capable of transforming the league. But Magic also emphasized that raw talent alone isn't enough. Just like he and Bird needed strong supporting casts to reach the mountaintop, these young stars will need their teammates behind them if they're going to navigate the hurdles ahead and truly claim the top of the sport. That's exactly what makes Magic's words so powerful. He managed to sidestep the pettiness while still making it crystal clear where he stands. His praise for Caitlin Clark wasn't just polite, it was genuine, the kind of acknowledgement that carries extra weight coming from someone with his legacy. And the context matters. As part owner of the Sparks, Magic has every reason to focus on his own franchise, yet he still couldn't ignore Clark's impact. It's vintage Magic, graceful, diplomatic, and classy, just like he was on the court, reminding everyone that true greatness is impossible to overlook. Barkley's take on Caitlin Clark has been exactly what you'd expect: blunt, unfiltered, and impossible to ignore. Just like he used to throw his weight around in the paint, he now throws it around in the media space, never worrying about ruffling feathers. The 11-time All-Star and 2-time Olympic gold medalist has made it clear that he sees the way Clark has been treated as unfair, and he hasn't been shy about calling out the WNBA for it. Love him or hate him, Barkley's voice carries, and when he speaks up, people listen.
And the thing I love about her, she never says a word. And now, when I watch her, two things I like. She's playing much faster.
Yeah.
Much faster. She was playing too slow the first half of the season.
I think she was tired. I think she was banged up from the college season.
They didn't even give her the understanding, like, you girls been worded for the WNBA season. Y'all been working out on the nose. She came straight out of college.
Barkley pointed out that Caitlin's early struggles weren't just about defenses locking her down. It was the grind of adapting to the pro schedule and carrying the weight of massive expectations. Once she shook off that fatigue, you could see the difference. She was running the floor harder, creating fast break chances, and lifting the Fever's offense as a whole. But true to form, Chuck didn't stop there. He went straight at the WNBA veterans, giving Caitlin a hard time, blasting the lack of respect and questioning why players would tear down someone who's clearly raising the league's profile. Barkley's trademark bluntness turned into a defense of Clark that cut just as sharp as any critique he's ever delivered.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes.
Barkley didn't just stop at calling out the players. He turned his sights on the media too. In his view, a lot of the tension around Caitlin hasn't been created on the hardwood at all, but in headlines and hot takes designed to stir up drama. He argued that instead of highlighting Clark's impact on attendance, ratings, and overall excitement for the league, too many media voices leaned into negativity and manufactured beef. To Barkley, the blame doesn't just rest with the elbows and hard fouls, it's with the people profiting off the storylines of hate. And that's classic Chuck, cutting through the noise to point out the circus behind the game.
These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried. People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you. It's just total bullshit. This girl is incredible. The number of attention, eyeballs she's brought to college and the pros, and for these women to have this petty jealousness You said to yourself, damn, what is going on here? And the thing I love about her, she never says a word. But these ladies who I love and respect their game, they couldn't have this thing up any worse. There's been so much negativity, and a lot of it is just petty jealousness.
You really can't fault Barkley for being fed up. From his perspective, the WNBA is sitting on a golden opportunity with Caitlin Clark, a player who's not just boosting ticket sales and TV ratings, but actively reshaping how fans engage with the league. And yet, instead of putting real effort into protecting her on the court, or leaning into her stardom as the league's centerpiece, the powers that be seem content to take a wait-and-see approach. That kind of corporate caution might feel safe, but it risks squandering the momentum Clark has already created. Barkley's irritation comes from the sense that the league has a superstar ready to carry the flag, but leadership hasn't fully embraced the moment. Already there's been comparisons of Steph Curry's shooting form with the similar form of Caitlin Clark. They both have that blindingly quick release time that stuns defenders, but their games have way more to it than just that weapon. Steph himself has observed that special aspect from Caitlin Clark. To be like Steph, you don't just have to have the skill to shoot like Steph. You need to perform, turn the game into a show for the crowd. You also have to have more to your game than that. Find ways to make your team better and affect the game even when the ball isn't in your hands. That's what separates Steph's greatness from all the other guards that have been practicing their three-point shot. It's no wonder why people have asked Steph a lot about Caitlin Clark, and it's cool that Steph has been outspoken with his praise. The parallels between Steph Curry and Caitlin Clark go deeper than just a quick release jumper. Yes, both can drain threes in the blink of an eye, but as Steph himself has pointed out, greatness isn't just about shooting. It's about showmanship, elevating teammates, and impacting the game in every way possible. That's why Curry's praise carries so much weight. He recognizes that Clark doesn't just mimic his style, she embodies the spirit of what made him revolutionary, the ability to turn a basketball game into must-see entertainment, while still finding ways to make her team better. No wonder people keep asking him about her, and no surprise he's been so vocal in giving her props.
I saw somebody break down the release time, which is pretty much identical to mine, and it hurt just confidence out of you. You can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence, the flair. Like, she's a performer. It's crazy though, just because her shot is like that. It's at that level. If you really watch, like, her floor game is as impressive. So it's kind of the total package. And her being the Fred breaking that record, and the amount of attention that she has gained over the course of these last couple of years. Every building she goes into, there's a different energy. Like, it's great for her, great for women's basketball.
When it comes to advice, Caitlin Clark couldn't find a stronger voice than Kevin Garnett's. The Hall of Famer and former MVP built his career on intensity, toughness, and relentless work ethic, traits that defined him for over 2 decades in the NBA. Garnett's words carry weight because he lived what he preaches, facing down challenges, silencing critics, and proving himself night after night. For Clark, tuning out the noise and focusing on growth is exactly the kind of mindset Garnett embodies. If anyone understands how to turn scrutiny into fuel, it's KG, and his perspective offers Caitlin a blueprint for navigating the storm while cementing her own legacy. Nicknamed the Big Ticket, Garnett skipped college and leapt straight into the NBA spotlight, carving out a reputation as one of the most intense and versatile players the game has ever seen. Because he entered the league under enormous pressure and still rose to superstardom, Garnett knows firsthand what it takes to thrive when the expectations are sky high. His journey gives him a unique perspective on how basketball stars are forged, not just through talent, but through resilience, adaptability, and the fire to prove yourself every single night.
Caitlin Clark go through shit. I'm watching all, man, rookies, you're gonna go through some shit. And guess what? When you're in, when you got the bullseye on your back, when you in, it's gonna come with some shit, Yeah. Ain't nobody hitting y'all with the step back in the high. Yeah, it's a compliment.
Exactly. Garnett's take strips away the noise and puts things in perspective. In his mind, rough play, trash talk, and constant pressure are not roadblocks. They're the proving ground. Every superstar had to endure that baptism by fire, and Caitlin Clark is no different. To Garnett, the fact that defenders are locked in on her, bumping her, and trying to throw her off her game is the ultimate compliment. It means they already fear what she's capable of. His advice? Embrace it, stay locked in, and let the process harden you into the kind of competitor who thrives under the weight of expectation. Well put. That shift in tone from skepticism to recognition is huge. Early on, plenty of people questioned whether Caitlin Clark's college stardom would translate to the pros, but as she's adjusted, elevated her play, and dragged her team into the playoff hunt, the narrative has flipped. Now, instead of nitpicking, the legends are validating her. When icons like Shaq call her the real deal, it isn't just praise, it's a stamp of legitimacy from basketball royalty. That kind of respect can't be manufactured, it's earned, and Clark is doing it in real time. Exactly. When legends co-sign Clark, it carries a weight no headline or hot take ever could. Game recognizes game isn't just a cliche here. It's proof that the people who've actually lived greatness can already see the same spark in her. They know the rookie grind, the pressure, the scrutiny, and they also know how quickly a player with Clark's skill set can transform into a generational force. That's why their praise feels less like hype and more like prophecy. If she stays the course, Caitlin Clark won't just change the way the women's game is played. She'll change the way it's valued, marketed, and remembered.